Hey, what's going on, YouTube? I'm Mr. Football, and this is Defensive Coordinator U. Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Mr. Football here today. Today I want to introduce a new series that I'm going to start on my channel called Defensive Coordinator U, or DCU. This is a series dealing with things that a defensive coordinator would need. I think there is a truly a deficiency, my personal opinion, on defensive football. So that's just trying to bridge the gap with people that are just now getting into coordinating in football. No matter at any level, we want to talk about all things defense. I've got a long list of videos to kind of cover here over the spring, going into the summer, and then getting into the fall. But a lot of that time that we have right now, starting here at the spring of the 2021 season, a lot of what we talk about is stuff that's going to matter on Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and all through that practice week. So we want to talk about things now in football, just to kind of take you along the path of what it's like to be a defensive coordinator. What all does the job entail? This will be my 5th year as a defensive coordinator. And we've been kind of running a system-based defense, and it's not always about just the defense itself. The X's and O's really, as a coordinator, that's what you do. You're supposed to be the expert. But there's a lot of other things that go into being a defensive coordinator. It's not just calling the plays on Friday night is not what there's so much more that I do. It really gets into a lot of the things. And that's what Defensive Coordinator U is about. We're going to go through practice plans. We're going to go through install plans. We're going to go through what a typical week looks like. And I've already kind of done some videos like that. So if you check out the playlist that goes with this, you're going to see some videos that are kind of in this realm, but they're not a part of the Defensive Coordinator U series. And so that's why I put that new fancy intro in there, because just something a little different. It's something a little different for the channel. Today, the first topic that I would like to talk about in Defensive Coordinator U is talking about how many formations should you actually pay attention to. So when you get a offensive film, you get a team's game. You start looking and you start breaking down their offense. You start looking at their formations, how they're going to look on Friday night, how they're going to look on Thursday, Saturday morning, whenever you play. What does that team look like? If you're able to scout opponents and you know what kind of formations they're going to be in, it's immense help to just getting your players lined up. So formation recognition matters, and a concept that I just talked about, formation recognition. You want your players to recognize those formations. So something that we do in order to get our players to understand formations and just to see the formations, and you can really do this in a variety of ways, but we call it formation recon, and we do it on Mondays. Mondays is a really light day for us, and it's more of an install day as a high school staff. And so one thing that the main focus of what we do in formation recon is line up the defense and go through their top 9 formations. Now, the only reason I say top 9, and it doesn't always have, because a team could line up in 2 formations and that's all that you could see. It's totally feasible. I coach the high school level. Sometimes we get a multitude of different formations that an offense could be in. And so 9 was just this happy number for me, because on Huddle, when you enter all their formations and they give you the formation breakdown chart of that opponent film, when you enter all that stuff in, it gives you essentially the very first page of that breakdown, or that report that Huddle runs. You get 9 formations. And so it goes into a much greater document that you can print off, but I don't usually print all the rest of that stuff on that goes through hit charts. I usually don't go through all that with my players. I usually just give them the top 9. And then we really more or less focus on the top 3, because your top 3 are mostly the ones that you're probably, that's the base of their offense, if you're really thinking about it. And then the other ones are kind of wrinkles. Just looking at this team, they were traditionally a straight T dead T type of team. And the year we played this team, they lined up in a lot more guns. So like their top formation was trips. Obviously their tight formation, their dead T look, and then just a 2x2 set. And then all the others were different variations. Like they had a tight end set, they had a tight end tray twin set, they had empty, which the empty they only ran 5 times. So empty is one of those that you have to take special care of. And there's all kinds of different ways to handle empty and trips and all that kind of stuff. But you mainly want to focus on, what shows up the most. And don't overload your players with everything. We'll show them the top 9. And what I usually do is I will draw up these top 9 just how they are on this. The kids get this. It's not really a requirement. It's just kind of part of the scouting report. But, we give them the top 9, and then when we introduce it in the locker room and then we go to the field, they see the top formations that they just saw in their handout. And so we go through, we talk about alignments, we talk about any special fronts, coverages, blitzes that we're going to do that week, and it all just kind of gets wrapped up there. And so that's our formation recon aspect of it. We just try to get that side of it, covered. So when they go into practice on Tuesday, these formations aren't a shock to them. And we start carrying that over and building it each day. So depending on what your Monday looks like, we mostly focus on just formation. So, how many formations should you actually pay attention to? I would say really the top 3 that they run, like those are the ones that I mostly focus on. How are we going to line up against their version of trips? How are we going to look in 2x2? If you have a good, solid defensive system, it shouldn't matter what the offense does. Sometimes you get goofy stuff in the spread, like bunch quads, where they're all 4 bunched up in quads. Empty gives you trouble. Stacked receivers. You got to know how to handle all of that. Ultimately, every little formation shouldn't, like, here's what I don't do. And this is one thing that, it just saves on time as far as entering this. Like, if we see trips to the right, like, trips to the left doesn't really mean anything to me. It's just the formation's flip. They're going to have, where they're going to run plays to the right or going to run to the left. Like, that's just how football works. So I don't try to overcomplicate it where, we're going to line up to this trips and then we're going to see this one. Like, let's see one version of it. Backfield sets, I don't really pay too much attention to unless it's like that's the true identity of their offense. If it's like a pistol diamond, if it's like, say, wishbone, wing T, whatever of those, any of those 20, 30 personnel sets. Some of those matter at times, but for me, like, formation of receivers, especially when you see a lot of spread, you try to adjust those formations, the best you can. Like I said, you may not need all of these. And this was just, and we've had some teams that, they run, 4 or 5 base formations and that's all you see. Like we play a flexbone team. They have just their balance set. They have a tight end set, and they have where 2 receivers are lined up on one side, and that's the entire offense. 3 formations. That's all we have to know. But I wouldn't focus. Unless it's just some formation that's going to break down your defense. Like that's when you need to add in those extras. And so, like I said, top 9 was just happy for us. 9 was perfect, and if you put any other ones in there, Huddle just sticks them down at the bottom of that document. If they have 10 or if they have 9 or more, they have a 10th one in there. And usually, and these are all populated in terms of the percentage of times that they've been in this formation offensively. So we had them tagged for 99 essentially plays, and 24 of those they were in trips. Nearly a quarter of their plays were out of trips. And then another 20% was out of their, pro tight set or what we would call just dead, essentially like a dead T look. And then 17% was out of doubles. And then the others, like they ran a like a tight end wing set. They only ran it 1 time out of 99. Are we going to focus on that one? Probably not. Like it's not that big of a deal that we see that. The next thing that you really have to go beyond that is there a formation and play combination that they like to run with that? And that's something that we'll have to break down a little bit more in detail, not necessarily for this video. So that's what I try to go with formations. When an offense gives you formations, Try to be simple about it. But, top 9 was good for us. And by the time we get through all 9, we've spent about 15 minutes worth of our practice time just lining up, talking through it, anything specific game plan wise. We try to get that in and try to move on. Our Monday practice is very, very short. A lot of times we're trying to get to JV games and stuff like that. So, that's where we're trying to get to. So our Mondays are pretty short. And formation recon is essentially defensively the biggest thing we put in as far as that, and then obviously doing the scouting report. So hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll have more videos coming out in Defensive Coordinator U. And I just wanted to say thank you guys as always for watching this video. I'm Mr. Football. Be sure to like this video. So hit the subscribe button meet our other defensive coordinators that are here on the channel. We've got several that are mixed in here I know of that watch the videos. So we're always happy to talk football, and it's what we do on here. So just be checking back for the next Defense Coordinator U video in the series. We'll see you guys next time. I'm Mr. Football, and I'm out of here.
Perfect.